own career, I thought everything was so important, and finally realized that it really wasn't compared to what I do now. So, and also at the end, I've asked her permission, but I would like to take the last 5 minutes and gather around and pray for Allie. So it's very important for her, and so if we could do that, okay? So I would like to first thank Doug and Rick. Doug for risking his ministry by having me up here for 6 weeks. And also for Rick, he spent probably 3 or 4 hours last Friday of his own time putting this program together for us so that we could see this. So thank you, Rick. The series you see tonight will take place over the next 6 weeks, and so I would like to take the next few minutes to kind of set the tone for what I hope we will all get out of this. This is a series that I am now finishing up in the 2 prisons that I am being used by God in. It has made an unbelievable impact on them. I have never used videos. I was just going to say I've never used videos in the past because I never really found a video that was worth taking the place of the Bible. They're all kind of cheesy, or just never really found one that was good. But this one is very unique, and I think this will inspire you to think about some things. Some areas of the video may seem a little slow or boring, but even in those areas of the video, I just want to stress that you watch them very closely, and there's a message being conveyed even in those areas. And like I said, these videos are done very well. I will be making some statements from time to time in a very general way over the next 6 weeks. I don't know where your relationships individually are with Christ and what your ministry experience is, if you have or haven't. I don't know that, so I'll be making statements in a very general way. So I may make some statements regarding some churches too. I kind of have an issue with some churches. I think a lot of them are teaching a watered down gospel. I think they're making things kind of light, and I'll be making some statements about that. But I don't judge all churches. I haven't been to all of them, so I don't know what they're like. So I don't want to stereotype them. So when in prison, I don't tell anybody what to believe or how to believe. I make that a very strong point. I'm there as God's tool. I'm there to plant a seed, and what they do with it, that's God's choice, what he does from there. So I don't tell anybody what to believe. God put you here. That's your relationship is with him. So I'm simply a tool of God presenting what he wants presented. He does the rest. I am simply presenting what God wants presented to you tonight. I'm sure that each of you will get something a little different out of what you see and hear tonight. I'm also not better than anyone else here because I go into the prisons. I rely on the Master every day just like you do, commonly referred to as letting go of the wheel. There's some things that I'm very passionate about. The first thing is my ministry and my faith. The second thing is the people that I'm close to, family, friends. I'm very passionate about that. In my career, I had the privilege of either starting or maintaining teams or inheriting a team that I then took to where I knew it needed to be. I viewed my position as a supervisor or manager differently than most. I use that opportunity to inspire people to be their best through team meetings, reviews, or personal interaction on the production floor. I often challenge different individuals to get them to discover what they were actually capable of and to get the individual to step out of their comfort zone. This philosophy caused top-performing teams with unbelievable production safety records and an extremely positive environment. And people really like that. Just treat people like human beings, and it's amazing the response you get. So it worked really well. And the last song that played tonight reflects the most important reason for why I do what I do in the prisons. When I think about what Christ did before the cross, on the cross, and after, really drives me to give back for what he has given to me and given all of us. Another reason is 31 years ago, he brought me to my knees in a little chapel for he forgave me for being basically a waste of oxygen, and he saved my life. There was 9 months before that. He really brought a lot of trials to my world, and he really knew that I was kind of a very strong person, very strong-willed, and I was a very, you might say, a very spirited person. And so he had to really beat me up pretty bad. And actually, that's to this day, that's still the greatest gift I've ever received, is that. I won't give him a round two, but I appreciate the first one. He then allowed me a career that I truly enjoyed, and also the beginning of being involved in jail ministry. I was asked to give up everything in June of 2017 and ended up in Waynesville, Missouri, where I started Exodus Ministries. I can go into a little more detail another time. If you want to know more about that, please ask later. But it was an experience that I'll never forget. Explaining the reasons of ministry, it's really the greatest thing that I see is when a person will come up to me or ask me that they want to accept Christ and ask me to pray with them, and seeing that light come on in someone's eyes is something that just rocks your world. So it's something it's just, there are really no words for it. It's just rocking my world is probably the best way to put it. And also, the second thing that I really look for, and the reason why I do it, is the ripple effects. I mean, the guys are going to go home to be a father to their kids. You know, they found a reason to be better. They're going to go home to be a husband to their wives, and it breaks a cycle. You know, a lot of them are part of cycles that have been going on for generations. And in St. Cloud, Minnesota, when I worked with those people, it was common that some gal would come to their door or catch them somewhere, often crying uncontrollably, thanking them because their husband came home so different. And so this ministry is not a warm, fuzzy thing to do. It has to be there because there's people that are looking for hope, and you break these cycles. It's a major thing. So, and it's really something that's very hard for me to wrap my mind around, is going from the night in the chapel where I was set free to now being in two of Colorado's maximum security prisons. It's very difficult, and it's still something I really can't get my mind around. I had never intended to leave Minnesota, much less than giving up my dream home and my career and all the things that he asked me to give up. But was it the right decision? Absolutely. You know, the experience I've had, it's just, you can't put words to it. And the experience of seeing someone come to life, it really is very nice. And also, over the years that I've been doing this, including the prisons, I've experienced a lot of miracles. I've seen unbelievable things happen. I've been in a room so full of God's power that it'll leave you stunned. You know, it's very amazing. Kendra, did you want to? You had something that you'd like to? Keep it under an hour.
Well, I just wanted to kind of ask you all why you come here. Anyway, put to the spot. Just go ahead and blurt it out.
One thing is, I look forward to, something to look forward to during the week. I mean, besides the rest of the course.
Yeah. Anybody else? Fellowship? isolated and not be alone, whatever. But, I like to serve outside the church, and so I voiced that, and Ryan had said, oh, I never thought of prison ministry. And I'm like, whoa, I've been to halfway houses when I was younger, and went to classes with girls, that were alcoholics and whatever. But, so I, decided, hey, to me, odd thing that when someone says something to you, or something pops into your mind or whatever, some means that you pursue that. You see, well, that must be God, speaking to you. So I hadn't found anything that I could do to get involved. So I went ahead, and I think I've been 4 times to this youth, it's called YOS, and it's for 18 to 25-year-olds.
14 to 24.
14 to 25, I don't know. But the first meeting I went to, they were talking about, they had done a thing where they took a test to see what their spiritual gifts were. So there's all these young men in there, and then so they went around and said, okay, well, what's your 3 languages? And so they would say it, and then someone would speak up and say, hey, I see that in you. And they were just so encouraging each other, and I was like, holy cow, I don't get that. But, I just felt good, and it was so encouraging to be around them. And not selfishly, but, they just like, are you coming back? Are you gonna be back? And it was good to see you. And, oh, do you like it here? They're just anxious, and they just, it's for somebody to come and spend time with them. They'd be very grateful, and it's just encouraging. And so, in my own troubles or whatever, to me, it's a great way. And there's verses that tell you to bear one another's burdens, and that to not please ourselves, but to do for others. And so don't use your freedom to indulge in the flesh, but rather serve one another, humbly in love. Give, and it will be given unto you. So I would just encourage you all that, as Brian talks about his ministry and all that in the prisons, it really does help you when, instead of just always going out to eat together, or always, going to the dances or whatever, think about something you can do outside of your comfort zone and for someone else, and just give it a try. Because, like that program that I signed up for, you can go for a few weeks and just see if, that's what you think God wants you to do. It's not like you have to sign on the dotted line or whatever, but I guarantee if you give of yourself, and you will get much more in return. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. So I'm putting in the plug for. Yes, sir?
I just want to agree with you on that, because I went down to Supply Week, and I just enjoyed every bit of it. Getting to see those guys and how they respond to you, and the eyes open, the countenance changing, and it's like they get a breath of life in them, and just the encouragement of you being there, spending time with them, sacrificing of your time to go down there and be with them. They love it. They look forward to it. That's like the thing that they look forward to during the week. We need to people to care about it. Yeah. Good job. Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Is it my turn? And it's really important to understand, too, that the Bible says we all have a ministry, but that's between you and your Creator, what that is. And, so that's a personal thing. I don't expect everybody in the room to come to prison with me. That's not the case. You can, but yeah. But the ministry you have is between you and Him, and just ask, and He'll take you there. So that, right? Next, let's see. like I said, I really feel that many churches, not all, have gone to teaching watered-down gospels and are not teaching whole message. And the really important thing I want to say here is in the Gospels, Jesus tells us 5 times to believe, but almost 20 times to follow. So most churches, out of this much faith, they're only teaching you this much. We're missing out on all this over here. So it's, I have a little bit of a difficulty with that. And we had a church that I belonged to in St. Cloud, Minnesota, that they had me come up front one time, and some of the kids that I worked with at the teen center, you know, he kind of had us talk about that and how it affected those kids to have someone come in and care them. Like you said, they appreciate someone just caring enough about them to go there and help them. And so the pastor started teaching that, you know, the church that, well, we're gonna start doing this reaching out thing. We're gonna take the faith outside the walls. And our church had a full service on Saturday night, 2 on Sunday, and in 9 months that church was gone. You know, people didn't want to do the work. That church was gone. So it's a hard thing to see. The analogy I'd like to use is as if we're standing on the 50-yard line on the football field with a ball in your hand that represents faith, and really not having a clue what to do with it, and not having the excitement of scoring a touchdown. It's the only analogy I can come up with, so bear with me here. This series that we see together, I pray, will take you down the field over the next 6 weeks, allowing you to experience your faith in a way that most never knew existed. I see, in my experience, I see so many people spend a lifetime chasing the different things of the world, trying to find something to fill that round hole. There's a round hole in here that only Christ can fill. Really ending up 80 years old sitting at the kitchen table at that 16th second. You know, again, sitting at the table, staring at nothing, and really never having found life or the peace that only Christ offers. I got a little favor to ask for next week. There's going to be a little homework. Okay. Please read the first 2 chapters of Ephesians. They're very short. I got a question for each of you next week. And please take 15 seconds before starting each day to please think about the 16th second. And if you need to watch the video again, please do. That video has gone viral. People really relate to that because they understand that 16th second. So if you would please do that. There's more I'd like to say before the video, but I really need time at the end of the video tonight for you to be able to go through the question and discussion time. Please take this time to really be open and honest with each other and with Christ. So let's go ahead and begin the 6-week long journey together. And Rick, if you would please start that.